Digital escorts in the news. No, not the spicy kind, but the security vulnerability kind. Hi, this is Lindy Kaiser with ClearanceJobs.com. There were news reports last week, a ProPublica report, I think a Times of India story, something in Reuters noting a letter that Senator Tom Cotton had written to a major IT supplier in the Department of Defense, alleging that they had this practice of using Chinese foreign nationals to build DoD IT infrastructure and then using these digital escorts to help get the code probably from the unclassified over to the classified side. Again, these anonymous reports and the allegations are that the digital escorts with security clearances who are helping these Chinese nationals in India, there's so many layers here, like onions, again, helping them to transfer, again, whatever they're doing digitally, let's pretend I know anything about IT, back to those US systems. So a lot of concern about that. Again, a lot of, quotes from senior level government officials saying they had never heard of this digital escorts program. I certainly have never heard of anything called a digital escort that wasn't potentially inappropriate for sexual behavior issues. But the concept of building tech on the low side and upgrading into the high side, certainly nothing new. The concept of offshoring IT work overseas, especially to India, certainly nothing new. What it comes down to here again, what the news reports are kind of calling into account are what is that process of transferring that data back? Are the folks that are monitoring that code as it goes from the low side back to the high side over here able to ensure that whatever code is being built isn't malicious? So a lot more to come. I'm not an IT professional. I don't know anything about this other than what's in the news. I do know a lot about the national security workforce, and this is certainly a trend that we've seen and something that we've cautioned. Obviously, why clearance jobs exist, you have to have a trusted workforce doing this mission critical work. I'm a fiscal conservative and love to save money as much as the next girl. Certainly there are benefits sometimes for offshoring certain IT, especially components, but when you're talking critical DoD infrastructure, this is why supply chain is such an issue. If you're going to outsource or offshore stuff, your processes for how it gets back into that supply chain are incredibly important. So I'm glad, again, Senator Tom Cotton, the Senate Intelligence Committee, is looking into this. I don't know the details to know pros and cons back and forth, but it's something that's being looked into. I think certainly from their couching it under security clearance terms, I don't think there is really a realm, again, where you're taking what's supposed to be unclassified information and that somebody can security clearance escort it back into, the right spot. So the terminology here is a little tweaky. I'm sure we'll get that refined and figure out everything else that's going on. But more to come on this. Again, if you're a recruiter watching this, it's a reminder. Every hire matters. There was already some news trails about how North Korea is inserting remote workers into U.S. companies, again, using AI, using deepfake technology to basically infiltrate critical U.S. infrastructure and businesses with North Korean IT workers. So nothing new here, certainly a trending problem and one that we're going to continue to watch over at ClearanceJobs.com.